Hello, Irish Nation, and welcome to another episode of the Golden Domer Homer podcast. I'm your host, Robbie Neighbor, back again with the Cub, Kenny Ball. How are we doing, Kenny?
Doing well after a win, man.
And the prognosticator, Tyler D.
Ready for a lot of mutual respect this week. Lots of mutual respect between these two teams.
Ty, there's no way you hate this game this much.
So much mutual respect. I won't be able to know. I won't know what to do with myself with all this mutual respect.
I don't fully disagree with them either. I get it, but I'm not a fan. Doesn't provide much.
Yeah. No. It's a mutual respect.
All right, well, let's talk about last week first.
Yep.
Before we talk about this week. Ty, thoughts on the game?
Yeah, so, win is a win. It was a fun game. I was up there again. Always a fun – the light shows, the traditionalists can say what they want about the video board, but I think with it and the improvements they've made, it is definitely more raucous than it used to be. The stadium was loud. The fans rallied behind the defense quite a bit, even though they were frustrating at times. I think in the first half, the defense was very frustrating. I think in the second half, they made some adjustments and stopped the run a little better. Pass defense needs some work. It's got me a little nervous for Virginia, seeing how they throw the ball. Does not have me nervous for Navy because they throw the ball 3 times a game. But I think Tommy had a good game plan. Jack Cohn had a rushing touchdown. He looked like all I saw was a Navy blur when I looked up. That's how fast he was moving. So all in all, good team win. Kyron Williams is a freak. He's the best player on the team. Definitely on the offense. So, yeah, thumbs up from me.
Yeah. In a weird way, I kind of disagree with Tidy on the defense, seeing as they gave up 13 points in the first half and 21 in the second half. For some reason, it just seemed like they couldn't tackle Sam Howell in the second half. He was just kind of not even juking. He was just running straight down the field, and we were missing. I don't really know what was going on there. But overall, I feel like the scheme was okay throughout the whole game. It was just a lot of missed plays by people. Nice interception by DJ Brown, I guess, in the second half. That was a big setup for us. Offense, I'm thrilled with. They brought in everything we've called for all year: RPOs, tempo. Buckner, don't know why he doesn't come in more often in the red zone, but other than that, I don't really have anything bad to say. It was a great week. I was pretty happy with it. Defense just needs to tackle.
Yeah, I agree. I think there are some question marks defensively, and I say that because Notre Dame now what are we? We've played 8 games. There's only been 2 games that we weren't outgained by the opponent. That being said, they find ways to win. North Carolina comes out early in the second half, scores a touchdown, takes the lead, and we come right back down the field and score. Just kind of they were really resilient, I think, this week, and they don't seem to get too down on themselves, and I'll tell you, they got some freshmen and some young guys playing really well. Lorenzo Styles is playing well on offense. Logan Diggs is running the ball really well. So definitely some highlights there. And like Ty said, Kyron Williams just continues to be the best player on the offensive side of the ball. I think after the bye week, they've done a really good job of getting the ball out of Cohn's hands relatively quickly.
Yeah, it was a great adjustment. Most important adjustment of the year so far.
That's helping tremendously. But play of the game is just, how about Kyron? 91 yards.
That stiff arm was nasty.
Looks like there's nowhere to go, and he houses it. And it's just that's the play we've been looking for from him all year, and we finally get it there. So definitely some highlights, and I think we played all right. Other than a couple missed tackles, I couldn't quite understand how Sam Howell runs for 91 yards, but whatever.
And we haven't. Kyle Hamilton being out, he might erase a couple of those plays without a doubt.
Yeah.
At least 1 or 2 of them. And I think maybe the biggest story of the last 2 weeks is that the big story has not been the offensive line.
I want to say they've only one sack both games.
Yeah, they seem to have made the right pushed the right buttons and found the right pieces for now, at least to be.
And this week it was early in the game, wasn't it? Wasn't it like
Yeah.
the first drive?
Yeah, it was. They were solid. They were solid through the rest of the game. They came out and did what they needed to do every drive, and scored when they needed to score. And yeah.
I mean, all in all, though, we knew it's not like North Carolina can't score. I mean, everybody knows that they can score. Like, it's not like we were going to go out there and shut them out.
We held them less than their season average by like 2 or 3 points still, even giving up 34. I think they're averaging like 36 or 37 points coming into the game. So
yeah, and I mean, like I said, they outgained us, but we weren't too far behind. But all in all, I thought Notre Dame played pretty well. Just maybe a couple tackles here and there on defense would have helped.
Yeah, without a doubt.
So yeah, all in all, the boys are 7-1. You won't hear me complain. CFP people.
My over 9 bet looks tremendous right now.
It looks very good.
It might have been the easiest bet of the year to date.
I was thinking about that today. I really liked it at the beginning of the year, and I don't know why I didn't, put some more money on it, because there just really was. Those were those 3 games. There were 3 games in there that they thought they could lose that they didn't now. I think beginning of the year, people saw it. They said UC, Wisconsin, North Carolina, and USC. And now some of those teams didn't really pan out. But
right.
But moving forward, I like my pick there.
Yeah, I don't I don't look at the rest of the schedule and get too worried about any of them too badly. I mean, Stanford fell off so fast after that Oregon win; it's insane.
Yeah. Ty, take us through the opponents for the week.
Opponent-wise, yeah, UC got a little scare again. They were up, I think, 2 at halftime. 17 – no, that doesn't make sense. 14-12, some weird score. But held on against Tulane. Wisconsin upset Iowa, who is not looking like a team that was ranked number 2 in the country earlier in the year.
That's not true. Wisconsin was the favorite.
True.
Sorry, buddy. And they're 5-3 now.
Yeah.
Yep, Wisconsin. Yeah. Are they 5-3 or 6-3?
I believe they're 5-3, and they control their own destiny to win the Big Ten West.
They do, and in the CFP top 25, which is nice for Notre Dame.
Yep.
Good for their resume. USC beats possibly the worst team in the top 5 in Arizona by 7. Virginia Tech beats one opponent in Georgia Tech. Helps Fuente a little bit. I still think he's a dead man walking, though. Navy gets their second win of the season, beating Tulsa. Got a little momentum in their favor. They losing to UC. And now with the win, talk about them in a minute. Purdue beats Nebraska. Scott Frost probably is a dead man walking. UVA loses in a shootout to BYU. I'm sorry. I'm in the lost column now. Georgia Tech, as we mentioned, loses to BT. Hopefully neither of you bet on Florida State. I know some people that did and lost a lot of money. They lose to Clemson. Toledo loses last night to Eastern Michigan. I'm assuming that counts as last week. I don't really know, but we're recording on Wednesday, so that's what we're going to talk about. And then Stanford loses. They move to 3-5, lose to Washington. I think, like I said, Wisconsin win looks a little better now. Any other thoughts on strength of schedule for us guys?
Like I was saying earlier, right before we got to recording, our opponent's record is actually not bad so far. I think we're like 7th as far as our opponent's record so far with wins and losses. Most of them are hovering around or above, or 1 or 2 losses below 500, other than Navy. We don't have anybody that's real terrible on our schedule, which kind of tends to be the norm for us.
Yeah. You take a look at the schedule. Wisconsin wins a big game. I think that kind of sticks out. Iowa is really bad on offense. I watched that game, and I don't know that they got a first down in the first half. Navy, they didn't have a bye. I think this is one of the first opponents we've had, but they played on Thursday night, so they had a long week this week to prepare. UC a couple scares there. I think that had a lot to do with what the CFP, where they had them last night at number 6. One thing to note real quick with the schedule moving forward, believe, if I'm not mistaken, UVA's quarterback got hurt.
Yes.
Okay.
So, I'm sorry.
I think it's questionable if he's going to play or not a little bit. I've
Yeah,
heard
so that's another break Notre Dame might get here in their schedule, because he really is. He can move the ball. He's really good at running the offense that they want to run and keeping the tempo. So that
Well, if you
could
can
be a
believe
break
this,
when we get there.
if
I'm
you
sorry.
can believe this, he'll have some time off because Virginia's got a bye this week. Shockingly.
Yeah. But I don't know. I forget what he did, but I did hear that he got injured, and so I hope he plays, because I'd like for that to be a game, but we'll see. And other than that, like you said, Stanford just falls off. So
Yeah.
who knows anymore? This year's been so crazy already. So let's go ahead, Ty.
Yeah. Let's talk news around the sport.
Let's talk news around the sport. Couple names I've seen come up for the TCU job. Been reading a couple things, a couple familiar names for us. But the number one candidate everyone seems to say is Sonny Dykes, the coach down at SMU.
Yeah.
But on 2 different websites now, I've seen names pop up like Mike Elko for that job, and now I just looked at one that said Marcus Freeman. So those are some interesting names being thrown around there.
Well, it's fun because we also saw Mike Tomlin and Brian Kelly thrown into the
that's
UNC.
true. And really, from
And
what
Jeff Fisher.
from what I've read,
I want Jeff Fisher still.
From what I've read, it seems like it's going to probably be, what's his name? The guy from James Franklin.
Sonny?
No, it sounds like it's going to be James Franklin. But
USC?
and there are other names that have been thrown around. Also, trying to stick with Texas ties for TCU is like Jeff Traylor, who's the head coach down at UTSA. And I've also seen Tom Herman thrown in the mix. But I thought that was interesting to see two of our last 3 defensive coordinators thrown in the mix there, with the other one, coaching in the SEC now. So
yeah, it's not a bad little stable of D coordinators so far.
No. And you had Diaco that went somewhere and wasn't.
He just was. He went to UConn.
It wasn't a good fit.
I'll forever never understand why he left the Notre Dame DC job to go be UConn's. I mean, I know Vanderbilt's bad, but they're not UConn.
Well, yeah, it's an SEC job at least.
Right. It's not.
Right.
UConn, it might be the worst what?
But
D1 program in the country.
I thought those were some interesting names. They've also thrown like Fuente's name out there. I guess they're just assuming he's not going to have a job.
It'd be, yeah.
And again, some of these are probably for clicks. Venable's name comes up for every head coaching job in America, and he never wants to go. So, why?
Maybe because they stink this year for the first time ever.
Well, that's true.
Recently.
Their defense isn't that bad.
No, they actually might have one of the top 5 defenses in the country, which makes their offense that much worse.
Yeah. Yeah. So I thought that was interesting. Couple names being thrown around there, but obviously the biggest news around the sport right now is college football playoff rankings came out last night. Ty, what are your original thoughts on how the committee did, and anything you disagree with or agree with?
So, I mean, the Oregon ranking, I think, is kind of insane. I know a lot of the talk has been about UC. I think, I don't have them in my top 5 or they're my top 4 either. I have them 5th. I mean, Oklahoma is undefeated and really has looked pretty dominant in the last 2 or 3 weeks. So I don't really get the Oklahoma hate.
Right. No.
Yeah,
It's a really there's a lot of really weird there.
So
yeah, I mean,
so give me your top four then. If you think, where do you think they went wrong?
So I have Georgia, I have Michigan State 2, I have Alabama 3, I have Oklahoma 4, I have UC 5, I have Ohio State 6.
And I think it comes down to the question that comes up every year. What are we looking for? Are we looking for the best 4 teams in the country? We're looking for the 4 most deserving teams in the country. Because there is a difference.
Yeah, I mean, so that's what I was thinking. So let's put Ohio State, for argument's sake, ahead of UC. So you got Georgia, Michigan State, Alabama, Oklahoma, Ohio State in front of UC. Would UC be favored in any of those games?
The number
Probably not, no.
yes. I believe
Maybe
against
Michigan State.
They say Michigan State. But here's my issue with that. And, we could sit here and talk about this for hours. And we just might do that tonight. But in my opinion, there is no way. I totally agree with what they did. There's no way Oregon can be behind Ohio State.
No.
If you're going to do that, don't play the season.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because they beat them at home. It's just, they do have a loss to Stanford, but Oregon's got the best win in the country right now.
Who's your top 4 right now, Kenny Ball?
Just do top 6. That way we see who's on the
top 6 works good.
I typically subscribe to the most deserving teams, not necessarily the best 4. So I said last night should have been, I thought, Georgia, Oklahoma, Michigan State, and UC. And then I would have said Bama and Oregon. 5 and 6. But that's with maybe the committee played this. They wanted, I think sometimes the committee plays the card of we want a way out. Like we want to be able to.
Yeah.
Like if Oklahoma wins out now, they can say, well, look at these 3 quality wins, 2.5 quality wins because beating Iowa State's not that quality. This is what we can do with them now. We brought them in at 8. But there are some other questions that come up for me, but we can talk about that. Robbie, go ahead. What do you got?
It just seems weird with the way the committee has it. Some of it seems to be like an eye test and who they think's the best, and some of it seems to be like most deserving best wins. Because the obvious Oregon-Ohio State is Oregon beat Ohio State, so they're ahead of them there. But then you look and you're like, well, Alabama's got that terrible loss. Michigan State's got the great win against Michigan, which is what's Alabama's best win this year?
That's a good point.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's why I don't have Bama in the top.
No, Bama's not. My top 6 was Georgia, Michigan State, Oklahoma, Oregon, Cincinnati. Oklahoma, Cincinnati. Did I say Oklahoma twice?
Yeah.
Georgia, Michigan State, Oklahoma, Oregon.
Cincinnati.
It was tough for me. I didn't know what to do with Ohio State and Cincinnati, but I like Cincinnati's best win better than Ohio State. But 5-6 is interchangeable for me between the 2 Ohio schools. There, I don't care. I'll take either. You can go either way. Ohio State's hot. Cincinnati's got the win.
I agree with you. It seems to me like the committee went the other way and said Oklahoma, Michigan State, UC, Oregon. Sorry, you guys wouldn't beat Bama. So which I agree with them. I agree with what the committee's saying there. I think Bama is a better team. But, and you can say what you want. Indiana's not that good. UC went on the road, did their job twice.
Double-digit wins, Power 5 conferences.
And they're going to have a chance. The other thing, though, is like they're going to have – you would think they'd have a chance against AP-ranked teams because SMU and Houston are ranked, and now neither of them are in the college football playoff rankings. So, and you got 5 and 3 Wisconsin in there with a win over Iowa. I mean,
Right. Which gives you back to what you said about the backdoor way out, because it seems like it's their way to keep Alabama in, even if they lose a close one to Georgia in the SEC championship game. While, like you said, keeping UC out, because it's like, look, you beat SMU, who we don't think is very good, or you beat whoever who don't think is very good. Well, at the same time, you look at Notre Dame there, and it's like, well, we got the best loss. We got a win over a team you guys think's top 25 by 28 points.
yeah.
What is I just don't get what some of these teams have done. Like Ohio, like Bama really has beaten nobody.
When I say they got their way out, they got a way out with the Big Ten. That cookie's just going to crumble.
Yeah, it's easy. It just seems like some of these teams get a pass for history and the other ones don't.
Yeah.
Like,
Ty, you got anything else?
Nah.
My only thing I would add is it would be unprecedented, and they may get beat this week, but it would be unprecedented for Wake Forest, a Power 5 school, to go undefeated and not get into the playoff.
they might not even be top 6, is what the committee said.
Yeah, that's I mean,
They don't have quality games coming up.
yeah, you
They're not
Their biggest win would end up being against a top 20 Pitt team if Pitt wins out.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate.
Which is to be said is when you look at it, you talk about the Power 5 versus the Group of 5 thing, and you say UC's got to play a tougher schedule because they're a Group of 5, and that whole thing. Well, you ready for a Wake Forest non-conference schedule this year? Old Dominion, Norfolk State, Army, and that's their 3.
So this weekend's game is non-conference actually.
This week
against
what?
North Carolina, but they scheduled it as a non-conference game.
That's fine. If they want to call it that, that's fine.
Well, I mean, it is.
I know. I'm just saying you're playing somebody in your conference. It's not a conference game, but I mean you're playing a weak ACC team still. The ACC still stinks.
They're preseason number 10. They didn't know they were going to stink when they scheduled them.
Yeah.
No, I know. It's not their fault. I'm just saying that Wake Forest is going to not get the benefit of the doubt from the committee.
I agree.
And that's what I'm saying.
You see them scheduled two Power 5 teams, not Norfolk State and I forget the team I just said.
Old Dominion.
Yeah, Old Dominion.
But yeah, I mean, that's what's great about college football is that we sit here, we can talk about this. It looks like Ty went with who he thinks are probably, well, I don't know, the best 4 teams in the country.
Yeah.
And that's what the committee did.
Which is actually the first rankings are fine either way because Ohio State, Michigan State's in Michigan, that's going to settle itself.
Yeah.
Right.
And so what I put in there is who I think are the most deserving teams. Now, if I had the best 4 teams, Bama would be in there. Ohio State would be in there. And I still like Oklahoma. Probably Oklahoma.
I like Oregon, man.
But we'll see. We'll see what happens this weekend.
Oregon did not have their offensive coordinator against Stanford. He was rushed to the hospital right before the game in an emergency thing. So,
yeah.
If that doesn't play a factor, like imagine if Tommy Rees was just like rushed to the hospital with some kind of thing right before the game. I wouldn't expect our offense to flow. And they beat Ohio State without Kayvon Thibodeau.
If it was
at Ohio State.
Yeah.
If it was never mind. I'm not even going to say that. Ty, go ahead.
I was going to open a can of worms and say where would Notre Dame be if they would have beat UC?
Top 4.
Where do you think they would have ranked them?
Right where Oregon is.
Yeah.
So 3? They're 3, right?
No, 4.
4.
Behind Georgia, Bama, and MSU. Yeah.
My biggest surprise of the weekend of the rankings was definitely number 8, Oklahoma.
Yeah, that just doesn't make any sense.
Behind Michigan.
That's their biggest miss, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yep, I agree.
But
all right,
it benefits Oklahoma that they have a Big 12 schedule to play out. So they'll probably favored in every game they play the rest of the year.
Yeah, but they always find a way to lose.
I think they still have to play Baylor and Oklahoma State, right?
And Iowa State.
Well, that doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, Iowa State. Come on, they're gonna go 8-5.
So hopefully they play Iowa State when they're 8-4. So
Yeah,
That's fair.
there you go.
All right.
Want to talk our game, or Rob? You got? Oh, we got to talk recruiting. We got a big commitment tonight.
yeah, we got to talk about Drake Bowen. That makes a ridiculous amount of 4- and 5-star linebackers in the last 2 recruiting classes now, as far as commitments go. That makes Drake Bowen the number 28 overall recruit, Jalen Sneed, who's number 32 overall, Joshua Burnham, who's number 117, Junior Tui Halamaka, 128, and Nolan Ziegler, who is an underrated 288. Next on my list of linebackers is the brother of Lorenzo Styles, Sonny Styles, out of the same school, Pickerington Central. You all might remember the photo problem when Brian Kelly got that like really stupid recruiting violation that was like a stupid fine. It was because he ran into Sonny when he was recruiting Lorenzo and took a picture with him and he was not the right age or whatever. So that explains that to anybody that didn't know. Yeah, so next up is Xavier Wonkpa in about a month. Looking forward to it.
That would be big.
If we get him and Drake Bowen, I think Marcus Freeman can run whatever defense he wants, and it might be successful with his recruits because he's got a pterodactyl and Keon Keeley coming in with Brendan Vernon, who's another 5-star. That D-line class that he's got coming next year is insane. Tyson Ford.
Are these 23 or 22? Bowen's 23.
So Keeley, Vernon, Bowen, Adon Schuler, 23 kids. The 22 kids are like Aiden Gobera, Tyson Ford, Jalen Sneed, Junior Tuiamaka, Burnham, Ziegler.
So are those 2 of the best recruiting classes we've had since Kelly's been there?
Defensively, since Kelly's been there, I'd say they're the best since they're right up there with Jalen Smith's class. And Jalen Smith's class was pretty incredible.
Yeah.
That 2013 class was special. If you'd remember, I think they had who was it that was recruited with them that committed and then ended up backing out late into some weird whole deal. I forget who it was. It was he's got a weird name. He went to UCLA.
Jordan Jen Marquise.
No. I mean, he went there like instead of coming to Notre Dame that year. It was dang it, I won't remember his name. Eddie Vanderdoes.
Yeah,
he ended up playing for
the. Got that one.
Yeah, he was a stud. But that year, Notre Dame ran into we had Jalen Smith 5-star, Max Redfield 5-star, Isaac Rochelle, Cole Luke. Torrey Hunter.
What's going on with before we move on?
McGlinchey. That was a good class, man.
What's going on with old Jalen Smith now? Is he just?
I think his career is over.
Yeah.
Why? No one wants to pay him?
He's getting paid. Dallas is paying him.
So why?
His play is just taking a hit lately, and I don't really know what happened. I mean, I don't know if he's definitely not nearly the athlete that he used to be.
Yeah. Ty, take us through the games here, bud.
Yeah, let's talk about some mutual respect here. So, Navy coming to South Bend, 3:30 kick, NBC. Early lines got Notre Dame favored by 21. It's a 92nd all-time meeting. Notre Dame leads the series 77-13, and with one tie. Last meeting, 2019, Chase Claypool went off. 52-20 Notre Dame win. Navy still led by Coach Kenya Matalolo, 14th season. He's 103-73 there. He's 3-10 versus Notre Dame. 2 wins against Brian Kelly, 1 against Charlie Weiss. So I think the 21 looks good. I think Notre Dame can stop the run, and that's all Navy does. That's my analysis. KB, what do you think?
I agree. I like I like the Irish here to cover. Just kind of looking at last year's UC schedule. They did not play Navy, but they played Army, who was better. And they only gave up 10 points. Looking last year, because obviously that's where Freeman came from. I think he'll have them ready to go, stopping the run, and I don't see Notre Dame not score. I mean, I know they don't get a lot of touches, but they're starting to score on just about every possession. It seems like. How many times did they punt the other night?
Do you know how many 3-and-outs there
twice.
were from each team? How many 3-and-outs for both teams total last week?
And I'm going to say
between
one
them
each.
Yeah,
One each.
2 total. It was 2 total.
Yeah. So I like where Reese is with this offense. I'll say Notre Dame 31-7.
I feel that score almost perfectly. I was going Notre Dame, going 31 to Marcus Freeman's first shutout, nothing for Navy. Say what you want about the linebackers. They can't cover. They cannot cover and pass. They're just not rangy enough. They go to the right place. They just get outplayed athletically. But they can both play the run game like nobody's business. And I feel like our fill-in safeties, Isaiah Pryor, DJ Brown, and the like, can tackle. They just can't tackle in space, and I don't think Navy's going to get them into space. It's going to be tackling in a phone booth. So,
I'm thinking along the 42-14 lines with a 21-0 lead after the first quarter. I think they're going to jump on.
The Irish get a lot more touches than they do, I think.
Yeah, I'm thinking we score 4 touchdowns and a field goal on our 7 possessions max.
Yeah, you certainly don't get a ton.
What Navy do the other day? Was it 20-something plays, 70-something yards, and a field goal?
They didn't throw a pass.
Yeah. Was it Navy or Georgia Tech that throttled Louisville without throwing a pass the whole game?
That was Georgia Tech. I remember watching that. Yeah. That was the night before the 2018 Virginia Tech game. I remember watching at a hotel in Roanoke, Virginia.
So Navy got – or UC this year got 9 possessions against Navy. 9 legit possessions. Some of them they only kneeled down.
Right.
And that's why maybe tie's not that far off. If you can go score, if you think Notre Dame's going to score every time, 42 is doable.
Yeah, I think they'll score every day.
Marshall beat them 49-7.
Yeah.
Marshall has beat some teams pretty good this year, it seems like.
Sorry about that.
Thundering Herd?
Yeah, I feel like they crushed somebody else. Who was it?
Marshall.
Oh, I'm checking right now.
They beat FIU 38-0 the other night.
I don't know if that's what I'm thinking about or if it's a different game, but I feel like that might just be the Navy game I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
Who knows?
How about some bold predictions while we're on the game that we're probably the most confident Notre Dame's going to win all season?
All right. I got a good one here. I got 2 on defense. My first one is I think this is a Jason Ademilola game. 3 tackles for a loss. I just think he just wrecks havoc. And then I think J.D. Bertrand gets his another 10-tackle game for himself, without a doubt, for me. I think it's just a guarantee. On offense, Jack Cohn, 4 passing touchdowns.
I look for the offense to start going to Mayer a little more.
Damn you. I was going to say that.
He had 4 catches last week. I'll say Mayer.
How good was he blocking?
8 to 9 catches, 110 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Love it.
Big game.
I'll take yours and mine. He catches 2 of the 4 Cone touchdowns.
There you go. On defense, it's kind of hard. You can't go with an interception, it feels like, right? I mean,
absolutely.
Because they're never going to throw
actually,
the ball.
You know what I'll say? Special teams touchdown.
Kyron punt return.
Yeah.
I like a Foskey swoop and score. Defensive touchdown. And I like
Um,
I'm trying to think how many yards Kyron had last week.
He had
He set a
199.
career high.
I think he had
199.
199.
his all-purpose yards is crazy.
Yeah, I'm not willing to say he'll beat that, but I think he'll get close with 2 touchdowns.
I have a weird feeling we're going to throw all over them. I think they're going to. I just don't think they have the talent to cause the problem other teams did, and they're going to pack the box, try to stop the run. And I think that we've figured out our RPO game and Lorenzo Styles. I mean, Styles is just so good. Blows my mind.
Fast.
Yeah.
And he's just a good receiver, man. He runs good routes. He blocks. Did you see that block on Twitter?
Yeah.
Against USC when he ran that dude in the ground?
Any word on Lindsey?
No, I haven't heard anything. Last I heard, it was kind of more precautionary than anything with his history of concussions. He's had a few in the past. If he's out, I think we're still okay, but we're getting real thin.
All right, so here's the deal for the picks this week. I'm putting down ND cover. If they don't cover, we lose. So tell me now if you don't like them to cover.
I think they will cover.
If they lose outright, we might not film the pod next week.
I'll be depressed.
But you might be depressed after I tell you how you did last week.
No, I know I did poorly. It didn't go well. I can't believe that Iowa played as bad as Iowa played. After when I picked against Iowa, they made me look stupid.
Keep in mind we're picking on the money line. And last week, Robbie went 4-7. Ty, you went 5-6.
How'd you do?
Yours truly 8-3.
Damn.
So you took a commanding lead.
Took a big lead, 3-game lead on everyone, or on Ty, and a 4-game lead on Robbie. If you took the parlay against our locks of the week, you hit.
Damn.
That's not good. That's not good at all.
Wisconsin, Houston, and you could have gone ahead and taken those money line or spread, and you would have won. Which, by the way, before we move any further, did you see my SMU beat? That was a pretty bad beat.
Yeah.
They tied it up with under a minute to go with a field goal, picked off, and Houston took it to the house.
Is that the second game ended on a pick six this year? Didn't Louisville end the game on a pick six, basically?
Oh, no, it wasn't a pick six. It was a kick six.
Oh, kicks. Oh.
They tied the game and then kicked off, and they took it to the house.
Oh, okay. I thought you said they threw a pick six. Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
Not good.
And then Superdog, Ty, you covered. Robbie, I do not believe you covered. Did you? What did Louisville lose by? They get beat by more than 7? Or did they get beat by 7?
I don't remember.
I think they got beat by 14. They got beat by 15. So you did not cover. And West Virginia covered and won outright because Brock Purdy sucks. And
that was a pretty yeah.
So that got me 2 points. I'm back up in the Superdog standings. Ty, you got 6 points in the Superdog. I got 5. Robbie, you got 2.
Superdog, not my thing.
Lock of the week, not Ty's thing.
Certainly not.
Ty is now 0-7-1. Lock of the week. Robbie's 4-4. I'm 4-4. Overall, not terrible. Well, other than Ty, but not good. You'd like to be a couple wins above 500 there, but year-to-date records, I'm 34-20. Robbie, you're 30-24, and Greg, or Ty, I'm sorry, you're 31-23. So big week this week. We got another 6 games to pick, lock and a Superdog, and you know it's getting down to crunch time in college football. It's just getting fun to watch.
Yeah. Ready to go through the slate?
Let's do it.
Not nearly as good as last week's slate, by the way. Last week's slate was good.
That was the best slate of the year. But nonetheless, we got some games to pick. So we're going to start it off in the Big Ten. Michigan State coming off the big win against Michigan last week, goes to West Lafayette to play Purdue. They're a 3.5-point favorites, Kenny Ball. Who you got?
Weird game here.
3-point favorites, not 3.5.
3-point favorites seems
Wild.
as they say, stinky. It's a weird line. I think Kenneth Walker is the best running back in the country. I think he's really good. I like Michigan State to win this game.
I agree with everything Kenny Ball just said, except for the best running back in the country, because I think he's in South Bend. So
nice.
Well, maybe, but
yeah,
Kenneth Walker's going to win the Heisman Trophy.
No, I agree with that. Michigan State can run the football.
Yeah. Mel Tucker's done a nice job.
No, I really like what he's done up there. I'd like to play him again because last time they were a top 10 team, we played him. It went really good for us. So let's line that one up.
Yeah.
Ty?
I like that's 3 picks for Sparty. Purdue's got that wild stat where they beat more like top 5 teams than any other school in the country, and that's not going to happen this week. So I think Michigan State wins and covers. Heading south, Auburn goes to visit my buddy Jimbo. They are 4.5-point dogs. Robbie, who do you like?
This was a tough one for me here. I was looking at it the whole time, and I couldn't decide what I wanted to go with, but I just don't think A&M is that good, and I'm hoping Alabama's resume gets worse and worse. So let's go Auburn. I'm taking the Tigers.
Yeah, 2 picks for Auburn. 2 picks for Auburn. I'm
Tigers with Auburn. I
love picking against Jimbo Fisher.
I agree. This is tough. I am going to pick against Bo Nix on the road. A little bit of a hangover game here. Let down after last week. Pretty big win over Ole Miss. If this game was being played at Auburn, I would go. Bo Nix is really good at home. I'm going to go against him this week. I'm going to take the 12th man down there at A&M, and I think Texas A&M will escape with a close one.
Yeah, tough game.
Yeah, so picking a lot of games in the South this week. Mississippi State is a 5-point dog visiting Sam Pittman's Arkansas Razorbacks. I'll go first. Arkansas kind of fell off the map, but I like them at home to bounce back here after I think Mississippi State's going to have a hangover after blowing out Kentucky, and I like the Hogs at home. KB?
Kenny Ball.
2 weeks in a row for Ty, just hearing the cowbell in his nightmares. Give me Mississippi State. Go on the road and get a big victory here. A big victory. Just after last week, I think they'll go down there and win.
Yeah,
or up there, I guess, for them.
Yeah, I'm with Kenny Ball. I think this is has a 35-21 game or 35-24 type of game written all over it. A little bit back and forth, but I think Mike Leach's team gets it done. I'm taking State. Went outright.
What's the spread in that game, Ty?
5.
State's a 5-point dog.
Oh, how about that?
That's what I said.
We got to pick them game.
This next one surprised me more. If I'm being honest, the next one surprised me more. The spread.
Can't rely on points here. Hopefully Tennessee brings their Kroger Plus cards. They head to Lexington to play Kentucky. KB, who you like?
Give me the Vols. Levis looked really bad last week. I think that continues. Tennessee has started to score some points. Coming off an off week now. They did just get blown out by Bama a couple weeks ago, but I think they bounce back and go on the road in a tough environment and win in Kroger Field.
Rob?
Go Cats. That's all I got. I think Levis bounces back. I think they run the ball well, and I think the defense steps up. Their linebacking core is maybe the second best in the SEC. I came into the season saying best. I was wrong. Georgia's got that. I think Kentucky might have the second best.
I mean, it's very hard historically to pick against Tennessee in this game, so I'm not going to. I think Kentucky's beat them like 3 times in the last 35 years. Given none of that matters because that doesn't really take into account who's playing on Saturday, but I like Tennessee. I think, like Kenny
you want to
said,
lock it?
I can,
Give me
but
a,
I already got it. I
give me a
already
win.
locked in. I locked in Michigan State over Purdue. I don't think I mentioned that.
I was just playing. I was going to be the odd man out, and I was hoping you'd lock it in, just jokingly.
Yeah, get you some more points over me. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think, like you said, they did end up getting blown out by Alabama. It was close for a while though, and Alabama ultimately is more talented and pulled away. But yeah, go Vols. I'll get my checkered overalls out on Saturday and sing Rocky Top. So
yeah,
Clemson.
And back to that, what you said about Bama in that close game. Doesn't it seem like that's happened a lot lately when it shouldn't with Tennessee, where they play with Bama right up until talent?
Yeah, I mean,
didn't they have a really bad team and then they were like 7 points down or 14 points down on the goal line and then fumbled and it was a 99-yard fumble return and all of a sudden the game flipped? And
that was a Butch Jones coach team. I remember that.
Yeah.
I want to say 2015 or 2016. Well, 2016. 2016, Tennessee was good and then kind of fell off the face of the earth. It's probably 2015. But, yeah, I mean, historically, that was a rivalry game. I don't think Tennessee beat them in like 15 years because where Alabama is and where Tennessee is.
Did you see that? Oh, that's the funny thing I saw. Do you remember that little interview with the dude on Bama's campus when they asked him about who he hated more, Tennessee or Auburn?
Tennessee. I hate Phil Fulmer. I hate that orange. I hate Tennessee. Yep.
Yeah. Coming into that game, I think Bama was like 2-5 in the last 7 against Tennessee, and they've been 15-0 since.
Yeah.
It's a pretty crazy stat.
You think Tennessee wishes they would have not shown Phil Fulmer the door?
Whoo! Yeah.
Been a nightmare ever since. So. All right. Well, moving on from Tennessee, Louisville has not beat Clemson since they joined the ACC in 2014. Clemson goes to the pizza. Well, it's not the pizza oven anymore. Just Cardinal Stadium as a 4-point favorite. Robbie, if there's a year Louisville can beat Clemson, this feels like it's got to be it, right? I mean, who you like?
I'm picking with my heart, not my head again. Go Cards, my alma mater. I'm taking Louisville. I think they get it done this week. They'll bounce back off that bad loss. And it wasn't that bad of a loss against NC State. I mean, they lost by 15, but my biggest worry is if Louisville can score on them. I do not like Cunningham against that front, but hopefully the Louisville defense can get a score or two and kind of pull a Notre Dame versus Wisconsin. We'll see.
Yeah, I'll pick the Cards as well, just because I really want them to win. I think the first team to 17 wins the game.
You said they haven't beat Clemson since they joined the ACC in 2014.
Correct.
Yeah, they're not going to this year either.
It was James Quick's fault. James Quick's fault. We haven't.
Defense is too good for Clemson. I like Clemson to come in and cover this game. Win by a touchdown.
Yeah, that's my least confident pick of the week right there with Louisville. I'm taking a defensive touchdown and a special teams play to win the game.
Nice. Last pick, our last week's opponent, North Carolina's at home as a 2.5-point favorite versus statistically the best team in the ACC, the undefeated Demon Deacons. Who wants to pick this?
Yeah, give me the Deacons. I'll pick it right now. It's going to be a score fest. It's looking like another one where the Demon Deacons put up 70 on Army, being like 70-56 or something.
Something like that.
Yeah, I just feel like that's going to be the key. I think they're going to score more. I just don't have a lot of faith in North Carolina this year. And I don't know why undefeated Wake is the underdog. So that's what I'm going with.
Tyler?
Yeah, give me the Deeks as well. I think I have no idea who Wake played last week, but I think North Carolina played a very hard, physical game against us. They're going to be kind of worn out from traveling to South Bend and back. And I think Wake's just a better team this year. So give me the Deeks. Went outright in Chapel Hill.
Wake played Duke last week. Beat them 45-7. Was not very close. Man, some spots to pick up some ground or lose some ground this week. I like North Carolina in a shootout. Giving up 56 to Army is pretty eye-opening. If North Carolina can find a stop somewhere, I think they're going to win the game. As Robbie said, I think it's a shootout. 76.5 is the over-under right now.
Jesus Christ.
That seems like an easy over bet to me.
This is the nooner on ABC. I think I'll definitely be tuned into this. I think it'll just be a fun game to watch. But give me the Heels in a close one, but a lot of points. A lot of points scored in this one. I got UNC shootout on my paper. So a lot of spots for us to, like I said, gain or lose some ground. There's looks like 3 games that you two are on the other side of me. So
Yeah, I do my best to try to either make up ground or ruin myself as quickly as possible.
yeah.
Crunch time.
Yeah, we're coming down to it. We don't have that long left. I gotta
Yes, we are.
make a break.
So, Ty, we talked a little bit about locks, super dogs. You locked in Michigan State, right? Uh-oh.
He froze. I'll start.
He's frozen.
We'll see if he can fix that. If not, dang it.
Yeah.
But we'll start with my lock of the week. I'm going Wisconsin over Rutgers. They're 10-point favorites, and I think Wisconsin has caught fire, and they will not lose it.
You said 10 versus Rutgers? Oh, no. Are you frozen? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
You said 10 points? That's
yeah,
what it
10.
was?
Yeah.
Rutgers. Okay. My lock of the week is going to be the Hilltoppers of Western Kentucky. I think their defense kind of got things going last week against Charlotte. Only gave up 13 points. That's our boy Maurice Crum Jr. down there. I like this offense to score a lot of points. That quarterback they got's in the top 10 at least in almost all quarterback rankings or statistics. So I like them to go out there and beat Middle Tennessee State pretty handedly this weekend and cover the 16.5. I mean, is he hopping back on?
Yeah, I'm working on it right now. Hold on one second. It's I'm getting his email up right now.
He said internet out, finish without me.
Ah, dang, that sucks. Well,
So
we don't get to figure out who his lock of the week was. Who do you lock in?
Michigan State. I'm asking him right now who his dog was.
All right, cool. I changed my super dog, by the way, to a random one that I just found that I liked. It goes against everything you did coming into this, but we got 4-4 Middle Tennessee State playing 4-4 Western at Western. I don't know what the deal is here, but Western's favored by like 16.5. So I'm taking Middle Tennessee State to cover that. I don't think they're going to win, but I don't see in what world Western beats them by 17 points.
All right. So that's funny because I'm on the complete other side. He did get back to me. He had a couple words that I can't say on the podcast, but they were directed at Dan Mullen. He likes South Carolina plus 18 against Florida. And I'm going to tell you right now, I hate that pick.
It's a terrible pick.
South Carolina is not very good.
No.
But he likes it. And
I learned my lesson when I picked them as my super dogs, and they lost by like 30. So
now, my super dog this week is really interesting. I don't know how I feel about it. Could blow up on me. But every time the Pac-12 looks like they have a sniff at the playoff, they get beat. Oregon's got to go to Seattle this week and play Washington. Give me the Huskies +7 at home. Tough place to play, loud environment.
I love it. I
I
looked
like
at it.
I like that to be a close game and maybe even knock them off and knock Oregon out of the playoff hunt.
Which wouldn't be bad because I just want everybody that Notre Dame plays to be as good as possible. And I think USC's got a chance to beat a couple of these teams out there out west. So,
yeah. I think Oregon, they got the best win in the country right now. Their loss is not very good. And one more will seal the deal on them, get them out of there.
So if Oregon loses this weekend, who has the best loss in the country? Or best win in the country, I mean. Not loss, my bad. Is it Cincinnati? Or is it –
Well, they still have the best win.
What'd you say? Well, I mean,
they still have
they're out of it. I mean, who has the best win for
contention? Got to be UC.
So they move up they got to move up a little bit in people's minds. I mean, obviously they jump Oregon if Oregon loses, but
one spot.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's crazy.
But then Ohio State moves up.
Yep.
So,
but does Ohio State's loss look worse if Oregon loses this weekend?
Yeah, but I don't think as long as they keep winning with the eye test, they'll be just fine.
Yeah. And who do they got this weekend? It's Nebraska.
Yeah. Ohio State
shouldn't be a tough one, but you never know.
The next 3 weeks after that, the Big Ten gets a little interesting. I think they have to go to Michigan this year.
Yeah, they do. They're going to the Big House.
So definitely just some different things in the Big Ten, and we'll see. We'll let it all play out. I think not at all do I think this is going to happen, but I think there still is a path somewhere for Notre Dame to get to the playoff. But
I was going to ask you, do you see a path? And the path is this: SMU. It's easy. It's easier than you think because it takes an SMU win at Cincinnati.
Yeah.
That knocks them out. Oklahoma could lose to Oklahoma State or Baylor. Yep. And whoever they lose to loses to the other one.
Yep.
And that moves us up 2 spots. So we're at 7. Georgia, Alabama. What if Georgia beats Bama by 30?
Bama's not going to get in, I don't think, if they don't win the SEC championship.
Exactly. So there's 3.
No, it's doable, and then you let Michigan State, Michigan, and Ohio State figure their thing
sort itself out. It's 4 things going the right way, pretty much.
Yeah, and we got to keep winning, and we got to keep winning big. I think.
I'd like the rest of the games this year we figured it out on offense. Let's score like we scored at UNC. Let's play defense like we played against Wisconsin.
And let's cover the spread. People think that those guys don't look at who covered spreads, and I'm telling you right now, that's what they look at.
Oh, it's an important factor. Yeah. Winning and how you win.
Yeah, their eye test is sometimes did you cover?
Which is what Oklahoma is ranked where they're ranked for because they didn't. Yeah.
Yeah, and so like I said, there's still a path there. It's just I don't necessarily think all those things are going to happen. I mean, I'm not going to bet. I think Georgia's the best team in the country, but would you bet against Alabama in the SEC championship?
Never.
I wouldn't put money against them. So it's just
no. But here's my last question before we hang it. It's 2 questions in one because obviously there's a what's better for Notre Dame question and what would you want question. Is it better for us to go to the playoff and get blown out, or is it better for us to go to a New Year's Six Bowl and beat somebody like a UC or a Michigan or one of those teams that might end up there with us in the Fiesta or
I don't know. This is a question that comes up often. Obviously I don't want to get blown out. I don't want to believe that we would, but I think Georgia, I don't think we could move the ball.
Exactly.
I think there's something to be said about making the playoff. What do you think?
I'm always for making the playoff if you get a choice.
Yeah.
But in this one weird year, I think I'd rather beat somebody in New Year's Six Bowl. And did my video cut off?
No, you're good.
Okay, cool. I think I'd rather win a New Year's Six Bowl and get out of there with a win and go into Ohio State next year. This one weird year happening as far as that goes. Any other year is different, but next year with Ohio State and Clemson on the schedule, I'd rather go into next year with a New Year's Six win.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good. I mean, either way, I think there's something to be said about making the playoff, but at the same time, I think getting run off the field isn't a good look. But we'll see. We'll see how the cookie crumbles. We could see some movement this week. So, especially if UNC can win and a couple other things, you never know. I mean, Michigan State very well could go in and get beat at Purdue.
Yeah, I mean, and that would make our Purdue win look even better.
Yeah. So,
I mean, it'd be great if, in a weird way, that would be maybe better than anything else we could ask for getting to the playoff. Would be Purdue winning. That'd be
absolutely.
And UC.
All right, well, take us away for the week.
Goodbye. Yeah, it was a great conversation. There's a lot to talk about. Look forward to next week.
Oh yeah,
we'll see what we do against Navy in this. I guess I'll give it to Tidy and say traditional game that we're playing this weekend.
Yeah,
so.
we'll get some hoops here in a couple weeks. Irish hoops coming back. So
yeah, and they sound legit. They look legit. I don't follow them nearly as much as you guys do, but
that team they played wasn't very good. But
no, I've heard good things about them freshmen. So
yeah, yep.
We'll see you next week, Irish Nation. Have a good week. Go Irish. Beat Navy.
Go Irish.